Yes, it's people, and welcome back to another video on the big YouTube channel where we bring you all things Chelsea. I'm your host with the most abridged nation here today to give you Chelsea transfer news 2025. Listen, there's a lot to talk about as always. Maignan, you know what I mean? It looks like it's going to go down the wire, but I think we're going to be getting that done hopefully tomorrow. Gittens, what's happening there? Has the deal stalled? Is it a thing of like we're probably gonna have to wait until the Club World Cup to then go in for him as well? I'm hearing about Garnacho being back on the radar once more. We will discuss that as well. Hugo Ekitike, what is happening? What is going on in that situation? Have you been lied to? Has there been a lot of rubbish been told to us? We will obviously be making sure to be doing as much discussion here as possible and be as objective as possible. So at the end of the day, we'll discuss all of this and more. Hopefully, you all have a wonderful day. Hope you're all enjoying yourselves. Lots to talk about, of course. And listen, I had a nice little weekend off, but in football, but sadly did not have a nice weekend off in life. So listen, that's the game, innit? You know what I mean? You gotta love the game right there. Joining me is my good friend Scott. How you doing, Scott, man? How you feeling?
I'm good, bro. I'm excited to talk about more transfers and more instances of our directors being absolutely amazing at their job. Just genuinely incredible people.
Hope you are buzzing. You know, I mean, depends on what type of thing I'm buzzing on. But sadly, right now, nothing to buzz on. But let's start with the big breaking news right now. There's some breaking news that's come out right now. Of course, let's start with that. We're losing a real one, man. We're losing a big man in the dressing room, a big talker. Marcus Bettinelli leaves Chelsea and joins Man City as new third goalkeeper. Green light also on the player who will travel to the FIFA World Cup. Here we go, man. Listen, man, it's a big loss, man. Big loss to the dressing room. You know, this guy, man, he bets, man, is his nickname, of course. He was a big guy for the dressing room, man. I'll be honest, man. He may be thinking of saying that in jest, but I'm actually trying to be. I'm being very honest about this, man. He's a big loss. What are your thoughts on him, Scott, man?
Bro, who's gonna run the group chat now that he's gone? I'm being serious. Who's gonna run the group chat now that he's gone?
Tosin probably.
Oh, it's gonna be Unk. Hey, fair play.
Oh, so immediately Tosin, man. Hey, man, listen, it's a big one. Listen, that's a big loss, man. People don't understand, man. Some of these guys, man, listen, behind the scenes and stuff like that, they're big. It's a very big thing. So, like, we need to understand that, man, quite a bit, man. It's a big loss, man. It's a big loss to the game, man. It's a big loss to the game. EPO turf, man. I should ban you for 5 minutes for saying that. You know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, that's a strike one offense right there. Only Madueke, Mandem FC leader. You never know, man. I'm distraught. I know, man. I'm distraught too. Can you calm down? Just leave it on the side. I'll take the blue bit later. Thank you. Thanks, mate. Cheers. But it is what it is. Sorry about that. But we move. I can't connect it. I can't connect this club anymore. Listen, man. A lot of people, man, can't connect the club, man. You know what I mean? But listen, the game is the game. I connected this club on an aura off basis. That's how I'm gonna start calling it from now on. But listen, Jerry, that's also Jerry, man. Listen, man, Jerry, we just lost Bettinelli. How are you feeling about that one, bro? It's a big loss, man. It's a big loss, that one, I have to say. I'm asking a question. Can you at least answer my question, please?
That's a question.
It is, man. It's a big loss, man, to the dressing room, man. He's a guy that was bringing the energy to the dressing room. He was the big man on the WhatsApp group, man. He was a third-team goalkeeper. He was also doing stuff like how shall I say it? He was also helping us with the homegrown quota. It's a lot of stuff that he was doing there, man.
Thanks for your time.
This is what I'm saying, man. This is why Chelsea, it's not what it's meant to be, bro. Because guys are not appreciating what the lads bring to the team. But you know what, man?
How do you know he's the leader of the group chat?
Listen, I read the reports.
Yeah, okay.
You know what I mean? Yeah. You see, Arvin, stop being a fraud. I'm not being a fraud. I'm just, I'm appreciating a former Chelsea player, man. You know what I mean? So I'm sorry that some of you guys don't do that around here. But listen, let's actually get to some big news.
Just on a side note, I had a little look quickly. Depending on if who leaves, based on what we've heard, we will be down to 7 people on the the homegrown thing. By the way,
interesting.
Really?
Yeah, but I haven't included in that George and Achimpong because they don't need to be registered.
Yeah.
So in terms of who we actually would need to register because of age,
is it 8 or is it 6?
No, you need 8. But it's like homegrown, so it doesn't have to be English. It just has to be come from because Sanchez would count even though he's Spanish. I'm looking at it of who we sell based on who I think we keep. I've got Tosin, Colwill, Delap, Palmer, James, and Lavia. Gittens would also count as well.
I didn't want Ugarte, by the way.
Would count too.
I did not want Ugarte. Yeah.
Noni I didn't include because obviously there's reports linking him away, and I still think he probably leaves.
I don't think that's true. Firstly, Somali playing. Do not disrespect me.
But we're talking about right now, like who we have right now.
If we're talking right now, we're fine. But I'm talking about if we lose who I think we lose, because I think Chalobah gets sold as well. That's why I didn't include him.
Yeah.
I swear I counted Delap. If I didn't count Delap, I meant Delap as well in that.
Yeah, but listen, firstly, respect Bridge Nation. You know what I mean? Bridge Nation needs to be respected. I don't do that sort of rubbish here. And I I'll go for Ugarte. Yeah, I don't know. 1 second. I'm sorting something out just behind the scenes real quick. But listen, I do not do that woke nonsense shit. That's what I'm gonna say, man. Ugarte, man. Do I look like I'm a run around merchant fan? Please respect me. Please respect me. Be out to our boy Lyndon, hope you do well. But listen, let's actually talk about some of the news that came out today. I'll start with the goalkeeping news because that's quite easy to discuss anyway. Maignan is pushing to join Chelsea. That's from Matteo Moretto. You then obviously get this. I had an important call just now, and Chelsea and Milan keep talking in these minutes. No agreement yet, but the fact that they're still talking is a positive sign for a green light. Let's see. That's from his YouTube. Zoom calls are ongoing right now in regards to Maignan. Chelsea mission is
The
to get money
Zoom,
on the plane.
by the way, like the Twitter going off on the Zoom thing was hilarious.
Chelsea's mission
All
is to
the
get
all
money
the
on.
clips from Lewis's streams were fucking hilarious, bro.
Chelsea's mission is to get Maignan on the plane for the Club World Cup. Both clubs are still talking right now. Maignan's personal terms are ready to be agreed. Wants to play UCL and Club World Cup and is really pushing. And the only other thing that I wanted just to bring up was this came out an hour ago. Again, Demarcio, I'm not really that type of guy to really bring him up, but allegedly this is what he's saying right now. Again, he's looking at he's usually a bit washed, so that's why I'm not gonna really. I'm obviously going to be adding him with a pinch of salt. Now, again, I've said this.
Fabrizio tweeted earlier about it.
Yeah, but all he said though is still negotiating. That's all he said. No, it's not really much of an update.
Still underway for Mike Maignan, club to club.
Yeah,
it'll get done.
Yeah, essentially, as I said before to many of you guys know this. I've said, if the deal is 45 million and above, this club will always fuck up. There's no, I can, the sporting directors will always somehow fuck up. That's why you need.
I'll be honest. It might even be less than that. Like, we're going to talk about the Gittens thing, and I'm not necessarily saying they're going to fuck it up, but bro, that seemed like a slam dunk, and it seems like we won't even get that done by the Club World Cup.
Yeah, I don't know.
I've got a new fear about something like that.
To be fair about the whole Gittens situation, from what I've heard from my end of things is that Dortmund keep changing the price. I told you guys that Tottenham already bid 40 million for him. We only bid 35, and he didn't want to go to Tottenham.
I think for me, a big thing that we need to talk about, and I've said this before, is that there's obviously going to be Club World Cup prices, then there's going to be regular transfer prices that are going to be happening after tomorrow, right? And so, realistically, for a lot of these, from a Chelsea perspective, I do think, you have to ask yourself, are you willing? And I always say, are you willing to pay that Club World Cup fee? Or are you more than happy to wait and maybe you get these guys in the knockout phase, right? Which is just going to be at the end of the month. And that's ideally when something they've spoken about in terms of income is ending at the end of June. Now,
the issue with the Club World Cup and the knockout thing is your ability to play. Like, let me look at the knockout rounds because to my understanding with the knockout rounds, you're going to have such a limited time to have these guys come in. When does
I get that. I get that.
Yeah. Like, so when's our last game? Our last game is the 24th. We then play 4 days later. So your ability to have these guys come in, train, and then play immediately is so limited. So if we are going to get Gittens in that gap before the knockout round, he's almost certainly not starting the next game, or I don't think he starts the next game.
No, I get
that. The only way I think that is if he's starting and playing for Dortmund, which isn't likely, in the games beforehand.
Well, the one thing is he'll be in the US, right? So like
I don't know if he'll be in. Well, he'll probably be in the US. I don't know if he plays.
I don't know if he'll play either, bro, because like he's already been iced out of the team like halfway through the season last year. Like he was basically iced out of the team. Like he was playing like pity minutes for the manager, and he was playing back forward or center or like second striker.
Exactly, EPO time. That's another good point. You don't need to actually be squad to train either. I just think for me,
you need to be in the squad to understand the system.
Yeah, but you don't need to be in the actual the way I put it is like he can be a part of the team. They can do the training sessions.
I just don't think it's that deep, Scott. That's my only thing.
Yeah,
I'm just saying. I just don't. My point with this is not that it is an issue. It's more of a case of I just don't think he ends up playing a lot. I don't think it ends up being. I don't think that matters though, right?
But does that? Let me ask you this:
getting him in the training camp because this is our preseason is more important. That's the way
That's why I would argue. Yeah, getting into training camp is much more.
Getting him into the camp because this is our current preseason is more important than anything. That's the way I look at it. Like as much as I would love for us to win this fucking Club World Cup, like I could give a fuck. Like I want us to get the players that we need. You know what I'm saying? And like this is our preseason. So, like, they need to be able to get in and play because there's not going to be a lot of preseason opportunities beyond this. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, like, even if they're not ready, Scott, you have to put them out there just for them to get bet in with the team. You know what I mean? So like, maybe not
I think
starting.
he ends up being part of the squad probably regardless. I just don't think he starts, which I don't think is necessarily
Yeah,
an
maybe
issue.
not starting minutes,
It's
but
just-
like getting on the pitch is something that we, even if they do come in, I still see it happening just because of like I said, like this is our opportunity for a preseason, this Club World Cup.
Yeah.
I
Listen,
just wonder how many
irregardless,
transfers will be done in that period. I don't think it'll be many.
I don't think Gittens gets done before tomorrow. If that's what people are thinking.
No, I don't think. I think the only transfer that gets done before the Club World Cup is Maignan.
Yeah,
yes,
Maignan
I
gets
agree.
done before tomorrow.
I think for me, the big thing that I think we're realizing right now is that I think the club is just not willing to play Club World Cup prices. That's what it just comes down to.
Yeah.
You can see
they're
it.
they're trying to tax right now
Yeah.
because they know the Club World Cup's right here.
Yeah, so listen, that's what's happening, right? And the problem is also that whether we like to admit it or not, the club, when it comes to negotiating, has done a shit job because they've always basically, allowed other teams.
I don't like doing this. I don't like.
No. We have to be fair. We have to be fair.
No, I'm not doing this.
This is me being fair to the. No. This is me being fair because again, our club has shown whenever they are really desperately, at times in need of players, they are willing to match what other clubs want. They have shown that, bro. Like we can. That's something that we have to.
And outside of Enzo, what's the other scenario?
Caicedo's a great example.
No,
of
it's
that.
not. No, it's not.
It is.
No, it's
Because
not.
they literally fumbled
No,
it.
because Liverpool bid. That's the only reason we put that type of bid down. It's not because we shit negotiated.
They weren't accepting it before. Like they were not accepting it before Liverpool came in. Regardless, we were going to have to pay that anyway.
They weren't accepting.
They weren't accepting it. The bigger issue that I have with these sporting directors,
I just can't say that. Osimhen's the one that I could say. That's it.
No, they've had issue. My big issue with these sporting directors is when it comes to transfers of a certain price, they have an inability to get it done by themselves.
Yes.
Like even if it's a case of,
that's I will 100%.
Even if it's a case of like the transfers, like the Neto thing, they're not getting that done without Mendes's help. They got Enzo done, Caicedo done with other people's help. They got Mudryk done with other people's help. They always need someone to hold their hand.
The thing is with the players that people are naming in the chat, we never put the money down for those players. You see what I'm saying? We never actually put the money down for a lot of those players. Like the players that we actually have on the team that we broke the negotiation structure from it. Right? Like to me, I totally agree with Scott in the fact of the matter is like, bro, your job is to fucking negotiate. Like your job is as sporting directors is to negotiate. You shouldn't have to call daddy to negotiate.
Yes.
Okay, that is the issue to me. Like you shouldn't have to call daddy to negotiate these deals. And it seems like every deal now they're calling for fucking dad.
Bro, Ahmed's right. It's every deal over about 30 million.
Mm-hmm.
Someone else has to get involved.
Exactly.
You are incapable of.
Bro, even this deal, even this Maignan deal, he's calling Igbali. Igbali is the one that's coming in and dealing with it now. Why do you think they did a Zoom meeting? Because Igbali's not going to show up to
what up, boys?
To Milan to deal with this. He got other billionaire shit to deal with. You see what I'm saying? That's why it's a fucking Zoom meeting because fucking they had to get Igbali involved. They had to get the big guns involved to get it over the line because they weren't going to get it over the line.
Yeah, but
in the end, they fucking 3 million difference. That's it.
But again, I think that just goes towards the point of like, when they need to get something done, they just eventually meet what the club is demanding. It's just that the pay structure becomes different, no? The way we pay them.
The part that I didn't like
necessarily
is that we don't necessarily break down in negotiations. We just are stingy as fuck.
Oh, wait, Jonathan.
Private chat.
Like you think, here's the thing is people expect deals to be done, right? That's the thing. That's the problem. Is your expectation, Ahmed, was Olise was supposed to get done. That's what your expectation was. Okay? That's not the expectation of the club. If they can't get deals done on their terms, that's the way they move. Okay? That's not being shit in negotiations. Being shit in negotiations is letting fucking Rui Costa ragdoll you for 6 months and then having to call it Bali to fucking pay the actual bread that they wanted. That's being shit at negotiations. Okay? It's two different things. Sticking to your guns in a negotiation is not being shit at it.
But the thing, but no. But wait. But there's a difference between no.
Just
But
because you believe. See, there's a difference between the expectations.
it's not about what I believe here or not. Though. Wait.
And what the club is doing.
You're conflating two things, bro. You're conflating
No, I'm not.
things.
Oh,
Yes, you are because
Joey, where I agree with Ahmed is a case of there comes a point where the negotiation. I understand. It comes to a point with these sporting directors, and we're seeing it with the 3 deals that we're currently trying to do, where they just break down anyway. They just break down and almost end up giving in. Of like, instead of being able to negotiate and do like even the Maignan thing, we're gonna probably get him for less than what they wanted, but it's closer to what Milan wanted in the first place compared to what we offered. Like you went closer to what Milan wanted.
That's not how you judge a negotiation, though, Scott. Like judging negotiation is like how much of a percentage did you get off of the number? Doesn't matter. It doesn't mean if you get closer to your valuation or theirs, because you're gonna always pay to theirs because they're the seller. Like no matter how you look at it, when they're the seller, they create the pricing for it. As much as you could create a valuation for it, it's their price. Negotiation is just trying to get that price down to closer to what your valuation is. If you get it down at all, then you've done your due diligence in the negotiation. If you got it done at all, okay? Because in a lot of cases like this, bro, you're not stealing players from people. Like it's just you're not. The football is not like that. You're not gonna get fucking steals unless you're looking at release clauses that are like McAllister's. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the only way you steal players from people. Otherwise, all these negotiations are always going to be the closer to what the seller wants. It's every single time. The seller has all the power in the world, unless it's like a last year of the deal and he's going to leave situation, and it's not this big fucking profile of a player that we're speaking of right now. Like that's the only difference between all of this. That I get where you guys are coming from. I just think we're a bit harsh on the way that we look at it. Like I don't necessarily believe, like, and I'm the biggest critics of these sporting directors. So like I don't want it to be this like, oh, I'm trying to back these dudes in this manner, but it's not. Negotiations aren't as cut and dry as you guys are making it out to be. That's all.
No. I think the point I have is that when it comes to Maignan deal, I don't mind them negotiating. I said this before. That's why I'm not even concerned about this deal, to be honest. Because I'm just like the value of the price is just too low for them to even fuck it up. Sadly, that's just what it just comes down to for me. But when I'm talking about, you know what I mean. But when it comes to, I think the bigger transfers, yeah, like I think obviously you just mentioned Olise, for example, right? One of the things that we spoke about. Olise had a known value, 60 million, something like that, which was in the contract that we knew he had to pay for. It then came down to obviously the contract stuff and what they were willing to pay. Which I was fuming about because I'd kind of had an issue necessarily with that. But at the end of the day, I can't criticize them in the sense that they still stuck to whatever they call their own wage structure, if that makes sense at the time. So that's
where they fucked up. At least it was the year before when we tampered it.
Yeah, yes, I understand I'm conflating, but that's what I was saying. I think we conflating two things there because I think with Olise, there was a known value that you had to pay. The question was, and the thing was, yeah, I didn't understand why they then went into negotiations over a value that you already knew you had to pay. That's what confused me at the time.
What are you talking about? Are you talking about the contract?
No, it was the value because, like, I remember it was something like, wasn't it like 60 million for like English clubs or something like that, right? If I'm mistaken. Yeah. And then for outside, it was like something like 40. But then the club was apparently trying to negotiate a little bit of a higher price that they usually used to do, right?
But they get the structure.
Get the structure, right? I remember at the time, and I was thinking, is that necessarily ideal for you? Because you know, all it takes is another club out of nowhere to come in.
Well, that's what happens, bro.
And that's literally what happens.
But here's the thing: you have a connection to this player that you're saying that you like. That's the problem with this. Okay, is you look at these negotiations through the lens of your own self and what your wants are. Okay, not necessarily of how the club is going to move. And you can question the way that they move, right? You can question that part. You can question the fact that why do we have this wage structure? All right, when are we going to be able to spend like some of these other teams again? You can question that. That's absolutely fine. But like I'm talking about like in negotiations, it's not necessarily Like sticking to your guns is the actual way that you're a good negotiator, not necessarily giving into these deals.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree with that. That's why I'm saying I understand why they're not probably going, but Gittens not going to come to the club from the Club World Cup, but also Ekitike. But it seems like that's what's going to happen. It's probably going to be after the Club World Cup as well.
Yep.
But we'll see what happens after that. But we'll discuss that when we get to that. But at the end of the day, with Maignan, as I said before, it's probably going to happen. Again, I just think it's just like, Chelsea just trying to show a strong face, as I said before, that they don't want to be what's it called? They won't literally bend over. You know what I mean? If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, these guys are jackasses, bro. Just plain and simple. When Stanley and Stewart are jackasses, they move like jackasses most of the time. They're glorified scouts. That's it. True. They can see talent, they can't negotiate for talent. It's plain and simple. They shouldn't be given the jobs that they have. They're not sporting directors.
They don't know how to close a deal, man.
Bro, the deals they can close are under 30 million, and look how much they're struggling with Maignan right now.
I guarantee these motherfuckers struggle to order shit off of Amazon. That's how shit they are, man.
Jackasses.
Yep.
Either way, let's actually talk about another topic I want to talk about. Let's make that a little bit bigger as well, and that is obviously on Maignan and Gittens.
No.
He's talking to his brother or something.
Yeah, but listen, let's actually look at this.
You're right, though, Dr. J. You're right. You're right, Dr. J.
Obviously, where was the Gittens update that I was looking for? There was like an update about Gittens that I just missed. Is there something that I'm not remembering?
What was the update, bro?
There's nothing really that happened today, bro, other than
no. Oh, there it is. This is what I was wanting to talk about.
The pricing for Gittens is 70 million now.
This is what I want to talk about. So obviously this is from Fabrizio on his DAZN video thing that he does these days. I don't see anyone watching DAZN, to be honest. I don't know why this is happening. But Jamie Gittens is Chelsea's priority for the Club World Cup, but Alejandro Garnacho remains a player appreciated by Chelsea. So that was the thing.
Bro, here's the thing. I'm gonna tell you this right now. How much did you put a bid in for Gittens? 30? 35?
Yes.
Do you think Manchester United is gonna fucking even entertain 35 million?
I think it depends.
I think they entertain 40 million.
I think it depends what stage it gets to in the window. I think if we get later on in the window and we haven't sorted this, which I think we will, so this doesn't really, like, this isn't going to happen.
Scott. That was going to
be whoa. Breaking news. Wow. It's looking like I might be wrong, chat. They might not be able to make a deal of 20 million happen.
Sorry, what?
Simon Johnson of The Athletic.
Oh, it's Simon Johnson.
Yo, this is a listen. You think Fabrizio and these guys are serious? This is a real guy. As things stand right now, Chelsea are not too confident of agreeing a fee for Maignan with AC Milan before tomorrow's deadline. Wow.
What did we say? These guys are jackasses.
I'm waiting. It's Simon Johnston. I'm gonna wait until Johnson, whatever his name is, I'm gonna say and wait till what Fabrizio says. If Fabrizio says that, then we can have conversations. But
bro, I don't understand. Look, I'm gonna share my screen right now, Ahmed, because this is why I hate aggregators, bro.
It's just not an aggregator, bro.
It is an aggregator. Look at Simon Johnson's post. I have it on the screen.
This is absolute Chelsea. They don't hide anything.
Put the screen up. Put the screen up.
They get everything from all to
they get everything right. Well, why is Simon Johnson saying this then? Himself is saying this.
There's still time for a breakthrough. He's not lying, but he's saying that's the same. But what have they said? That's not.
But why are we like this is all?
I'll be honest, bro. I hate to feel like this. I get what you're saying, but this,
bro.
No, listen.
He oxymoron himself in a fucking instant. There's still time for a breakthrough. Not confident.
Yes, there can be a breakthrough, but they're saying that he's not. If they're not confident right now, what does that mean?
We've been dragging it on.
Yeah,
whatever,
that's
bro.
all.
I hate this shit, bro. I hate these fucking aggregators. Oh, they take one piece of what he wants to say and make it a whole fucking thing, son.
What? Where are you getting this from, Chris?
Fab says it's over for sure.
That's my guy. If Chris, if you're a line teammate, yeah,
Bro,
I'm gonna
I
come
hate
to
this
Shrewsbury.
shit, son.
I'm gonna
I
come to
hate
Shrewsbury,
it.
Chris.
I hate this shit. Just
Yeah, like I said, I'm
let it
gonna have a little wait. The thing I'll say on the Gittens thing, just what I was gonna say earlier, I think United, if it got closer to the end of the window, would accept like 35 or 40 for Garnacho, because I think at this point they kind of just want to sell him, and get him out, and they just kind of need money. But I don't think it gets to that point in terms of, I think like we will end up buying Gittens before we get Garnacho, and I don't think these sporting directors or owners are stupid enough to go and get both of those guys.
fucking brief city, and then you just everything's brief city until tomorrow, bro. Let's just get it real.
No, but like, bro, you can no, Joey, you can legitimately bring up the fact. Hold up, that Fab pretty much said they're arguing the add-ons, right? They're arguing the structure. When you argue the structure, it means that overall the final price you agree with, you just disagree with the percentages of what's going to be the fixed fee and what's going to be the add-ons, right? And then literally, was it 14, 15 minutes after the Milan insider was like Chelsea offered them.
I'm pissed at you.
What?
Not you, Sam. I'm sorry.
Okay, I was like, but bro, then the Milan insider Longo dude was like, oh, Chelsea only offered 12.5 million pounds. So like everybody is getting different news at different times, bro. That's reality.
What I said. Wait.
It legitimately was within 15 minutes of each other. Bro, Fab said no. Listen, Ahmed, go to Pies right now. The tweets are one on top of the other, 15 minutes apart. Legitimately 15 minutes apart. This Longo dude is like, Milan said no, and then Fab is like, they're just arguing about the percentage of add-ons and the structure of the deal, not the price, the structure of the deal. Right there, boom, one on top of the other, legitimately within minutes of each other.
Bro, I don't even know. I'm tired of this shit. I'm tired of these. I'm just tired of aggregators taking everything and making it something. Like I'm just really tired of it. Everybody has a piece of information, and they're all getting.
But you know what it was. You know what it was, Joey. It all went to shit as soon as you started getting paid for views, bro. As soon as you started getting paid for views, it went to shit. Because before, if you weren't reputable, people unfollowed. That's it. You're done. But then when you started getting paid for views, it was over, bro. The blue check.
Every deal becomes a saga, bro. Every deal.
Yep. It killed the game, man. It killed the game.
We'll see, man. We'll see, indeed. We'll see, indeed. That's all I'm gonna say.
Simon Johnson hype, man.
Hey, he's quite reliable, so I don't know if we can cook him, but it is what it is. Brown envelopes. All right, man. Pay up or go home, RSM. The structure doesn't need to be just about add-ons. It could be a payment arrangement. They may want all the money now or disagree with the payment plan. That's actually a good point too.
But that's my whole point. But that's my whole point. They agree on the amount though, which is my whole point. Fab is saying they agreed on the amount. They just disagree how it's going to be paid or whatever structure you want to say. But the final amount, they're fine with. They're just arguing how it's going to be paid. And then immediately a couple minutes after, the dude is like, Milan said no. So.
Yeah, I don't know. Normally, when Fab has a tweet pinned, he is pretty confident it's getting done.
Hey man, this is the way I negotiate, man. With AC, man.
We're about to get another tap.
Nice stream.
What the fuck you donating £1 at me saying nice stream for? Do you think I'm a fucking charity box? Alright, bro. Just say it normally in the chat. Why are you sending me £1? Like I'm fucking them youths outside Leicester Square. Like I'm some charity box, like I'm your webcam girl. Don't fucking donate £1 to me and say nice stream to man, bro. You nuts? Fucking dick.
There we go, man. That's what
anyways, bro. Not only that. Not only that. By the way, 15 minutes before the Simon Johnson thing, right? The tweet that you put up on screen that I sent you from an Italian source, saying that the chances of white smoke, which means that the deal gets done at close, are extremely high. So an Italian source saying that Simon Johnson, I'm telling you, nobody has any idea what's going on, bro. Nobody.
Bro, these people are just trying to get their bread, bro. He got his retweets in 3 seconds, son. Simon Johnson got his retweets in 3 seconds, bro.
But he hasn't even tweeted the whole saga, so I don't really see the point of him trying to get retweets. Maybe just me, but listen. Either way,
bro, you gotta get in. What are you talking about?
The vast majority of his writings are just made for by the Athletic, bro. You know what the Athletic guys are
You
like.
gotta eat your rights, Molly Plain. Let me just shut up, bro. Let me shut up. This is why I'm not in journalism. This is why I stopped going to journalism school, because all this shit's bull crap anyways.
Ahmed is a Milan fan. Just pretend to be a Chelsea fan. If you truly believe that, I have to pray for your soul. But good luck to you, bro. Journalist, well, for my listen, it is what it is. But listen, how would you feel? I think this is one of the reasons why I wanted to bring up Garnacho, actually. If we did actually get Garnacho, how would you feel about that, bro?
This is how I would feel.
I'm on loan.
This is how I would feel. No, Ahmed, look at the screen. This is how I would feel, bro.
Yeah, listen. By the way, this little thing to think.
And ending a window, by the way, ending the window with our attacking signings being what they're going to be with you. You had Garnacho on top of that, brother. I don't give a shit what else.
I just wanted to say this. This worries me.
I think we overpaid for fucking Leal before we get Garnacho.
I hope so.
I think that's why I think we would overpay for Leal. I think we would go back to Mendes before we get Garnacho. If we got nobody by that time in the window, I think we would go to Mendes and be like, "What's the best deal you could give us?"
One thing I've always mentioned, yeah. Oh, let me just read this quickly, actually, because this is actually something interesting about Maignan, which I think is quite interesting to read. This worries me. The message from the Chelsea end has been pretty positive in the last hours, but I imagine Simon got this from someone close to the club, so maybe there's a detail that just ain't budging. Maignan himself has been under the impression it will get done. So that's something, this little update.
Yeah, bro. Like, this is the point. The point being is they don't want an unhappy player.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
He
saying?
already told them. I'm not signing. I'm leaving for free. So let me go and get some money.
Bro,
but like listen, irregardless, before I bring you that little update here, but like one of the things I wanted to talk about in terms of our wingers, yeah, is that I've seen a lot of people being talking about, sell Madueke, sell, if you can sell now, let's sell now and sell a bunch of these guys. But then when I'm hearing some of the options I'm looking at, I'm like, are those guys genuinely gonna be upgrades for the guys that we've got this season? That's the question I always ask myself, right? Because if you're gonna bring in any talent, right, into our attacking lineup in terms of the wings, right, and centrally, they have to be, in my personal opinion, natural upgrades to them, right? Now, listen, Gittens gonna be a natural upgrade, right, to maybe a Neto on the wing, yeah, maybe a Madueke on the wing. I wouldn't.
They're different,
right? No, but if they play,
they're different players.
Madueke and Gittens are very similar players. Just that one plays on the left and one plays on the right, and one of them.
Yeah, but one's right-footed and one's left-footed.
No, but what I'm talking about is what they provide. It doesn't matter if they play left foot, right foot.
Yeah,
what do they do? What's their job?
That's not.
No, that's not that. That's actually. What do you mean, bro? What is a player's main skill set?
You have a. Let me explain it then. What do I mean? If you have a right-footed winger on the left hand, if you have a right-footed winger on the right-hand side, you're going to get more crosses than cutting inside. If you have a left-footed, if you have that same right-footed winger on the left-hand side, you're going to get more cut insides than going to the byline. Like, yes, it's different. What do you mean it's different? Yes, it's different. We don't have two-footed wingers. None of our wingers are two-footed. So, yes, it's different. Is it better? No, it's not better. If that's the question that you're asking. They're not better. He's not a better player than these guys. But it's different.
Fair enough. But I'm just talking about, is he going to provide us with an equal amount of what these guys are giving me, or is he going to be better than them?
I mean, we have two wingers. Two at this current moment. We have two wingers.
Yes, I understand that.
Senior wingers.
I understand that. I'm comparing any of the wingers that we're potentially trying to bring in to the two guys. Right?
Two guys ain't enough.
You're not getting the point, bro.
It doesn't matter. Your point is that's not what I'm trying to say.
No, it's not, because, bro, you're not. Listen, I get we don't have enough figures. That's not a problem. But I'm just talking about if I am bringing in a number 3 winger, a number 4 winger, or maybe I'm about to potentially lose another winger, right? Because that's what people are saying about Madueke probably going to leave the club, right? So that means I need at least 2 wingers, bro, right? I'm looking at those 2 wingers and saying, are these guys going to be upgrade to the guy that I'm about to lose?
I don't need all of them to be upgrades. I need one to be an upgrade. That's my point.
Not if I'm going into the business here of saying my next step is to compete. Madueke is not part of that plan. I don't need someone to be on the same level as the Madueke, bro. Does that make sense?
I
That's what I'm asking.
need one squad player and one starter. That's the way I look at it.
Okay, right. Who? So my question is, and that's why I bring this up. Who are those two guys for you? Like,
I would say Gittens and somebody like a Leao, bro.
I agree.
Yeah, something like
'Cause
that.
I think Gittens, with
If
all
we
due
can
respect,
get Gittens for a good deal, right? Like that's the
exactly.
whole deal.
Yeah. But
Like-
regardless, like, okay, but taking away the money aspect, I think Ahmed is speaking just in terms of what they provide to the squad. I think Gittens is an upgrade on Tyreek George, and Leao is an upgrade on the wingers we currently have. So I think like a Gittens Leao thing is calm. I think that's an upgrade.
That's why.
And which is what
point.
Ahmed is saying. I think that's an upgrade.
No, he's. What I'm saying is we don't need both of these wingers to be upgrades. We need one. I would take one with a really high ceiling to be a squad player, and then one that's a starter. That's my problem with not bringing Gwenda in right away, because he could have just been the squad player one. That's
also the issue in terms of squad building with how you're going to build this team.
like,
If we do get Leao and Gittens in, bro, you've got Gwenda in who reportedly,
exactly.
and obviously the plans change. Reportedly, we've brought in to play on the left-hand side. So you have 3 wingers on the left-hand side, 2 of which are have 1 year difference between them. So
Exactly.
one of them's going to have to leave, and you've just spent 30 million on Gittens, and you just spent potentially 70 million on Leao. It just comes back down to, again. So the issues of our squad come down to the same issues we talk about every time. It's just planning and squad building. If we were smart, and people might hate me for this, but if this team was smart, what they'd actually do is do similar to what they did this season with another player, but a better player than Sancho. I'm going to just throw out a name. I'm not saying I definitely want him, but I'm saying I would take him if you could find the right situation. You go and get someone like a Gittens, and you go and maybe get someone like a Grealish on loan. Something like that. That makes sense. Because then Grealish can leave, and then you get his spot is taken by Gwenda. Something like that. I'm not saying that Grealish has to be the guy.
I hear it.
Like that.
I hear it.
But no,
I hear it,
we're trying to fit 1 million players into positions they can't fit.
Yep.
We're going to sell players before they're ready. Gittens and Gwenda may end up being fantastic. One of them, if we get Leao, one of them has to leave next season. Has to.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's just the same problems we've experienced every fucking season, and these sporting directors and these owners refuse to understand. They refuse to learn. So if they can't learn, they must.
They don't refuse. They just don't. They just don't see an issue.
Skewed, bro. It's so skewed. And every year they got saved by this manager this year. They got saved.
They got bailed out.
They literally got bailed out by this guy. This guy bailed him out. Bailed these sporting directors out, bro, by getting 4th place in the end. And just having the season that he had. This has been my biggest problem with this entire project from the beginning. Straight up. It's straight up. No, and Haya, he's not wrong, but the problem is
Grealish doesn't have to be the guy. It's just an example of
I know what he means.
But the point of it is this, right? It's regardless, if we get Gittens, then we're hamstringing ourselves because we're getting another guy who's around the same age next year when he should have just been here this year. Fuck what Gittens is. Fuck what Sporting wants. You bring him in this year. You already spent the money. You bring him in this year. He's a squad player, and you get the starter behind him. It's that simple. But no, we wanted to fuck around, let him stay at Sporting for a year while we're bereft of wingers. It doesn't make fucking any sense.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't make any sense. You keep on hamstringing the team every year. They kept hamstringing the team. It's this strategy. Bro, it's not dictated by the fucking ownership.
Yes, they're not.
They barely know fuck from football. Do you think they're dictating the entire fucking the entire thing? No. These directors, they gave them an idea, they bought into the idea, and they gave them the money to implement the idea. That's it. This is just
Can I ask the question, though? Can I ask the question? What is to say? I know Gwenda's a good player and everything like that, from what I've heard and everything like that. But what's to say that Gwenda is also not a flip? I hate to put it like that, but that is
Ahmed. How are you? We just bought him for 50 million euros. How are you flipping him? Yeah, bro.
You know what
who are you
these guys
flipping
are?
him to?
No, but that's the way I'm making. Maybe season 2 for us.
And Armin,
And-
there's two things with this. Number one, because this is my last point, because I do have to cut, because I've got to do something quickly.
No, bro.
The first thing is who's paying that money. Number two, if someone's paying that money, it's because he's had that good a season that they think he's worth spending more than the 50 million we bought. Which, if they're willing to do that, you're telling me that he can't do that for us,
Bro. Scott, I would rather take Bakwa than any of these guys. Bakwa over Garnacho, over Gittens. He's local. Get him for cheap. Bring him in, and you could sell him the fuck off for nothing. That's the way that's the best idea out of all of them. That's a squad player. Perfect squad player. We fuck him off in a year if we have to. If he doesn't hit, fuck him off in a year. Who gives a shit? He's from Strasbourg anyways. We could sell him back to Strasbourg for all we give a fuck. That's how I see it. Go buy a big guy and bring me Bakwa from Strasbourg. That's how I look at it. What am I spending 50 million for? I'm not spending 50 million on a fucking squad player if I want another winger anyways. I'm not.
Yeah, like my thing with this whole Gittens thing, the Gittens thing isn't necessarily the issue. Like, because you can work with Gittens and Quenda. I don't like it, but you can work with Gittens and Quenda next season. The issue comes of we still need another left winger unless you're just going to play Noni there or Neto there the whole season, which I'm calm with. But this fan base doesn't want. Most of this fan base doesn't want Noni, and we probably do need an upgrade on it.
Doesn't want Gittens, bro.
No, true, but like we probably do need an upgrade on Noni.
You guys aren't getting it. I'm spending big money on a winger, and I'm bringing Bakwa in to be a squad player. Like I'm not spending any money on a squad player. That squad player specifically is going to cost me 15 to 20 million from Strasbourg, and I can fuck him off in a year. Like that's my thought process. Is if I'm going to buy a squad player, I'm going to buy a guy who I can fuck off in a year if he doesn't hit. That's my thought process. Period. That's how I look at it. That's what I'm saying. Why are we spending 50 million? Like if they want 70 million and we're willing to give them 35, and 50 million is like the middle ground of it all, right? I'm just making 50 million middle ground.
I thought the price a bit confusing. I thought they initially wanted 42 million. Because that's why Fabrizio was talking for so long about the add-ons being important. Now I saw it's like 50, 60 million, now 70 million. Like I said this before, like you have to think on some level if the Club World Cup prices maybe have increased, but we have to see after tomorrow, innit? After like on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, if Chelsea come back to the negotiation table and they're still asking for that price, then it kind of becomes pointless, if that makes sense, right? Like buying it for 50 M's, that buying Gittens for 50 M's, yeah.
Because bro, I want one more on top of Gittens, right?
You have to get one more on top of it. I agree.
Like everybody's sitting here saying no matter what, we should be trying to get one more on top of Gittens. Am I right or wrong?
Mm-hmm.
So if we're gonna be talking about that, then we need to spend low on one and get another one for spend big on another one. That's all it is. I'm not spending 50 on Gittens if I want to spend 70 on Kudus.
Yeah, that's the other thing, right? Because whoever you bring in after Gittens, yeah. If let's say I get a Leao, hypothetically speaking, right, and apparently he's got like a minimum fee of like something like 70 million euros. Like let's say his total package comes up to like 80 million pounds. That you're right, and you brought Gittens to 50 million, right? Mm-hmm. What does that say? You're basically saying he's almost there, basically. And again, more pressure, unnecessary pressure on a player, right? Doku is a good example of this. Smart him, right? They brought him for a crazy fee, and the amount of which is like 50 M's, yeah. And people were expecting like it
was closer to 70.
Something, yeah, but like they were expecting, man, the final. People were thinking they were about to get the final form of like Doku. So that's why, like I always say, man,
they ended up getting the first form of Frieza.
Yeah.
Doku is Frieza's son is actually hilarious now that I think about it.
That's crazy. But regardless, man, I think in terms of this winger situation, I think you probably get more information, yeah. I'll be honest with you. in the next week or so, whilst Club World Cup is going on.
I mean, we've always said that we're not worried about getting a winger before this Club World Cup. I mean, none of it, like this football team, I don't know, it's ass backwards, but whatever. We got 15 goalkeepers, and we're getting Mike Maignan. I don't blame him. I don't blame him.
It's
Get
just-
Mike Maignan.
They're just really act erratic, bro. That's the problem right now. This club is
Bro,
always.
just give me the right fucking players, son. Just give me the right
thing
players.
is, I don't want us to be in the same situation like last year, where it's July, and we're scrambling around. Like, we're getting deals done like end of July, early or mid July, right? With the Neto deal, we had the João Felix deal happen mid July, but like a bunch of deals just happened all around mid July because we decided to wake up then.
Put Professor Rossplat's info.
Is it the last comment? Is it his last
Yeah,
comment?
most recent comment. You know they just signed a 16-year-old fucking winger from Ajax, a Moroccan winger, Real Madrid. Did you know that? Did you know that they just signed a 19-year-old fucking Argentinian player that is supposed to be similar level to Esteval?
Wait, Joey, question.
They spent
Joey,
a bunch of money. Real Madrid spent a bunch of money on Endrick. What are you on, bro?
Joey, question. How old is Hoyson as well? How old is Hoyson?
Hoyson's 19, sir.
Interesting, bro.
This year. It's very interesting.
That's interesting. It's intriguing, man.
It's just people don't like, what? Real Madrid would never do this, bro. They're doing it right now. What, they spent all that money on Guler last year. They're doing it every year, bro. What are we talking about here, son?
Anyone what? He is a decent centre back.
He's a decent centre back.
Yeah.
He still has some growing to do. That's all I have to say. When I say growing, like he just has to be more physical in his duels. He's not a big duel winner. But everything else is his distribution, because he actually used to be a midfielder back in the day. His distribution's very good. Himself on the half turn.
Why not Mbeumo? A, we were never in for him, and B, the club, and B, he wants to go to United for the transfer value, or for the contract value. We're not going to give him 250k if he comes to Chelsea, by the way.
I don't think they're giving him 350, but
No, I said 250. Sorry, I wasn't saying
Yeah.
250. Yeah. So we're not gonna go. We probably wouldn't give him that. We'd probably be like somewhere in the 100 and what, 50, 60, 70.
Also, Mbeumo would be strictly a touchline winger, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, they do. What are you fucking talking about? Yes, of course they do. Buy players that have resale value. I just named you 15 of them, Rasclot. Named you like 15 different players. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about now, bro.
I think you just gotta let him put the fries in the bag, man.
Yeah.
It's gonna be interesting now because like I didn't see this so you gotta get a Neto that's just had the Club World Cup, Tariq George, and Madueke, right? That's gonna be your three main wingers, right? Going into the Club World Cup, barring anyone you also bring in from the academy.
Nico Winger, son. We're gonna see Nico Winger.
Yeah, probably.
We're gonna see Nico Winger because he's gonna play Delap. You guys are twisted if he doesn't. You don't think he's gonna play Delap.
Delap is gonna play every minute because he needs to see what Delap has about him.
It would be. I bet you it's Delap and you as the strikers for the tournament.
Yep, agreed.
I'd put money on that.
Agreed.
And then Nico plays left wing.
Interesting indeed, man. Imagine that Nico wing. That would probably confirm that the second striker probably is coming in if he starts playing on the wing.
I'm being serious. He's gonna play left wing.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Yep.
Maybe
He could have an opportunity, bro.
Listen, I already said the thing is the reason why Nico's gonna play left wing and Delap's gonna play every minute as striker is the fact that there is nothing new that Nico can show us in the Club World Cup that we don't already know about him. So it's gonna be Delap and you.
Yeah, Delap and you. It's gonna be Jackson on the wings. Like I'm not even. And
we need to wait for the 32-man squad so we will have enough options for group stages. No. Again, the 32-man squad is probably going to be quite easy to know because again, if you add obviously possibly Maignan coming in, and then obviously Mamadou Sarr's coming and the Sugu's coming, the rest of it adds into itself quite easily.
Agreed.
If Nico plays left wing, sell him. I mean, that's probably what it means. So, Gerard. So, I think you found the answer into the question. Antonio Nusa Leipzig is awesome. I don't know. Did you have a good season at Leipzig? I haven't had that much from him in a while, to be honest.
I mean, Leipzig is a hellhole right now.
Fair enough. Yeah, it's only because again, Nusa, for those who remember, was a former club target. They tried to actually, you know,
From the earlier today, someone said he was. I said I knew that he agreed a deal to somebody in the Premier League. It was Tottenham, I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it was. Then he got failed medical.
Yeah, because remember he had something.
Yildiz, I read today that Yildiz is signing a new contract. By the way, so you guys.
He's staying. He's staying. Yeah, Yildiz is staying, bro.
Signing a new contract.
Yep.
Damn.
So once again, fries and
He had
bag.
he had a good performance against Italy. He's a good player. But he's had some pretty bad injury history. He had a pretty bad injury history.
Also, again, Yildiz is a baller, but it's one of those things where, like, the more I realize, the more the fact that, like, we get more inside forwards on the wings, but, like, we need touchline wingers, man.
Yeah, I guess that's the one thing that Gittens can be. That's the thing that he actually is a touchline winner, and he wants to play that way.
Oh, what's it called? Jackson as a touchline goal would be hilarious. You will fail. You will fall on the ball doing skills. Oh my god. Listen,
I think it actually suits him, to be honest.
I'll be honest, man. No comment on Jackson. I'm not gonna say anything on Jackson anymore. We'll see what happens. That's what I always say.
I mean, he doesn't. He does not play. He does not play striker for fucking Senegal.
Yes, that's why I said. I'm looking.
You do realize that, right? Like he's gonna play. He's gonna be playing wing. He plays wing for Senegal. Like this is a normal position for him. So we'll see. We'll see.
We shall see, man.
One of the things I always wanted to talk about was one of the other things I wanted to talk about was obviously Ekitike. It seems that's not getting done. There's also now rumors that obviously Liverpool are now trying to sell off Darwin Núñez, Jota. I think there was another guy that was mentioned that's
but none of that shit matters, bro. It's only
No, because the point I was trying to because for me, regardless whoever it goes fast, the whole point is that they're trying to actually sell the player quickly so they can get into that race, which is going to obviously it's going to play a major part obviously into what's it called Frankfurt getting the bidding war that they want. Yeah, that's ideally what they actually want, right? So big up to Lewis, by the way. Big up to Lewis. Make sure to subscribe to Carefree
big up, man.
Big up to our boy, man. Big up to our boy. But that's the point, right? So I think again, this is why, regardless of the Club World Cup deadline, the club is also kind of in a race against obviously Liverpool selling their players, right? In order to try to get this transfer fee sorted out. So for me, the question I actually have to ask is, how do you see this deal ending? Do you think it's gonna end obviously with us maybe paying that fee, but maybe in a way that we negotiate to our benefit, or do you think it's gonna be still gonna be a little bit less? That's what I'm interested in to hear.
All right. So here's the thing, right? Liverpool have they have their own squad building thing going on. Okay, so there's a lot of, and obviously I do a show with Link, and he tells me all the Liverpool stuff. You guys are getting a bunch of Liverpool stuff in my chat now, but the one thing here that you kind of have to understand is there's a domino effect with Osimhen specifically. Nobody's paying for Darwin Núñez, okay? No one. With the number that they are trying to get for him to break even, no one's paying for him unless it's Saudi. Today, there were some reports that said he already denied Saudi. So, and Al Hilal is going to the Club World Cup. So, they might not even do the deal because they still got Mitrovic. They still have to get rid of Mitrovic. Okay? To even get this deal done for either of these strikers. Okay? So really, this is just a drag-on deal. Does Osimhen take the Saudi deal? If he does, Núñez stays, and it's a wide-open battle for us to take Ekitike. If Núñez goes to Saudi Arabia, now we got a bidding war on our hands. So we'll see how it ends up working out. I think there's going to be less movement than we realize. I read some things that they're willing to just keep him and play him with Burkhart.
Check your messages. But yeah, listen, I think we'll see. But like again, I think so much of Chelsea, that it's just that I think, they one thing, I find it very hard to pass through this because they want deals incoming virtually done by end of June, right? I've always said the Club World Cup is like a hard deadline maybe for like some of the main guys they may want in, right? It's a soft deadline, but they have said themselves they generally want deals done. Like in terms of income as well as outgoings, you can probably get a bit more time. You got July, you got even early August to sort those ones out, right? Even mid-June and stuff like that, right? To get that stuff done. But they want ideally all their incomings done by end of June. That's what they've said, right? So for me, I look at that and I'm like, if that's the case, you kind of now you've got a new deadline of like what 2 weeks essentially. Oh no, wait, one,
Yep.
2 weeks
3.
and like change. It'll be 2 weeks and
3
change
weeks.
basically.
It's about 3
Yeah,
weeks. It's today,
about
this week just started.
Yeah. So essentially, it's gonna be you got 3 weeks left, right? So
Yep.
for me, I'm looking at that. I'm like, well, we still need probably 2 centre backs, hopefully. If that makes sense. Which were one's like a hybrid left back. Still, you're still obviously looking at Gittens, the winger, and then whoever's gonna be on top of that. You're still looking at obviously Ekitike, right? If we alter, that's what 1 + 2 + 2. That's 5 signings still remaining in that for your that are gonna be like your main signings, right? Are you going to be able to do that? That's the question. By the end of June, I don't know. So
I mean, bro, they've done more in less time.
They've done more in less time, but like I feel like for the guys they're targeting, do you think they can get that done in 3 weeks? That's the question. That's a good question to ask.
I don't know. Now, these sporting directors, they're just dumb and dumber.
You can't trust them, bro.
That's what I'm saying. It's so hard to know because they've always said before, right? They've always made the point that we can do it. They've always made the point, right, that they're effective. You know what I mean, in the market, but we've seen what's happened.
I think there's some interesting things going on that could really change the scope of what this window could be. Like specifically the Gyökeres and Osimhen situation. Those are the two that are the most interesting to me, because I just told you the domino effect that it has for our striker, where Osimhen goes. Like his decision has a domino effect. Gyökeres' decision's domino effect is also very interesting, because if Gyökeres goes, because there's a lot of talk that he's going to Manchester United, but I believe that he might go to like Italy and go to either Juve or Napoli, especially after like an Osimhen sale. I could see Napoli just putting the bag down. Like, I could really see that. So, like, to me, this is a really especially with like the whole Rodrigo situation, kind of in the mingle of it all. Like, it's very interesting for me to sit here and watch and see where how the dominoes fall, because it really, those two decisions determine the window, in my opinion, and how the window actually ends up moving at the striker position.
Gyökeres unfollowed Sporting today. Why did he unfollow them? Something happened.
So there's like a thing that he's unhappy that he wasn't, like, they promised him that he would be allowed to leave for 60 plus 10. And that promise has been kind of pushed.
There's one thing I've learned in life, man. When it comes to football, you gotta make sure, lads. You gotta make sure that you get everything in writing, man. You know what I mean?
That's bro. That gentleman's agreement, Bandulu, man.
Yeah, that's just
man. Oh, is it that Judge Rinder says? You know what I mean? If you watch Judge Rinder,
now his price. This guy scored 100 goals now, right? This guy scored 100 goals. Now now Sporting's pricing him out of a move.
Wow.
So like,
some nice little breaking news for us, by the way.
I'm telling you right now. Sporting's gonna wait until Osimhen leaves. Hey, they're gonna take whatever that deal is, and they're gonna be like, we want this. So if it's 75 million that he leaves for, or if it's 85 million that Osimhen leaves for, Sporting's gonna be like, I don't care where they went. This is what we want.
But listen, if you watch UK daytime TV, which I've not watched in like I think a good very very long time. But I used to remember like my dad used to love this show called Judge Rinder. Yeah. And this guy, he used to do he used to be this like legal. It's like regular petty cases about this person owes me money. He got me in writing. Did he get the thing you done in writing? No. But did you agree to it? Yes. No money. He always used to say to me, whenever you do stuff like that, always get it in writing. That's what I always tell these guys, man. You have to don't trust these guys. Don't be doing gentleman agreement stuff like that. You have to listen. You said this is what you've said. And you will sign this with the agreement, knowing this is the price that you will sell me at. Because
guys, there's going to be a handful of clubs that are going to be striker hungry at the end of the window.
Yeah, so that's it. But one thing I wanted, just a little bit of breaking news. Apparently, Roman Abramovich has spoken in a book, and it's about Chelsea Football Club and just what he wants, something a bit more than that. Let me just bring this up for you. Roman Abramovich. Perhaps one day there would be a situation where I could attend the match and say a proper goodbye, but nothing more than that. So a little bit of an interesting.
He said he added, "I don't have any interest in any role in a football club.
Yeah,
certainly not a professional one."
Yeah.
Bro, he got his heart broken, man. He's not doing this again.
Yeah, he's not doing nothing. He's good. That's what I said.
Bro, he had one love. He saw his win. That's it, man.
Yeah, he got the dub that he wanted too. That in 12, he got the dub.
Yep.
And I mean, 12 and 21, he got the both. He got 2 dubs in the end.
Pretty much.
So this is obviously by Nick Powell, and it's basically that little quotation from Abramovich has come from a book called "The Inside Story of the Sale of Chelsea FC." That's what the book is called, as for people who don't know. But yeah, I'm just gonna pass this one by.
Matt Turner to Nottingham Forest.
No, to Lyon. He's going to Lyon, no?
Oh, is he going to Lyon?
Yeah, but he was at Forest. They remember Arsenal.
Oh, he was at Forest. Yeah, he's going to Lyon. You're right. Yeah. Texator does it again. Texator, and they did a whole little deal. You see that? The 30 million from Botafogo for 3 players.
I didn't see that. But listen, one thing I will say, how we feel about the Club World Cup. That's another thing to talk about, because obviously that's going to be starting what we're going to be playing next week Monday. So that's going to be our first game. So how we feel about Club World Cup? What do you think our chances are? 10%, 50, 20?
Should be cake for us, bro.
I agree with that. Probably should be fast paced.
Should be cake, and then we probably will either see Benfica or Bayern, depending on how serious Bayern is. Because I think Benfica will probably more than likely take it seriously. They take everything fucking seriously. Everything that can pay them. And then that's kind of where we'll see how we do in like a dress rehearsal against a proper European team, realistically.
Are you gonna? What you forcing this comment, RSM?
What's the comment? Listen, man, y'all need something. How come y'all never wish that on your life? Why y'all betting with my money, bro?
I'm just asking, bro, what's going on?
On RSM's life.
They always do this, man. They always do this.
We do it, man.
The worst part is, bro, is you know what? The craziest part is Joe who started this, bro. Joe started this, and then Ahmed ran with it, man.
Listen, man. Sorry, man. On RSM's earlobe, we're gonna make at least.
You see what I gotta deal with, man?
There we go, man. You see, I'm making it funny. You see that? I made it funny there.
What is this clownery, son?
But yeah, man. Listen, what do you think is gonna happen tomorrow? Do you think anything crazy will happen tomorrow? Where we do
we should be fucking getting. That's about.
No,
it.
I mean, the only crazy thing that will happen tomorrow is if we don't get Mike through the line. If we don't get him across the line, then it will be crazy. If we do, then it's what should have been done. Simple.
I can't lie to you. The stream, after Mike doesn't get done tomorrow, if that doesn't happen, I'm not sure what I'm going to say on stream, bro. I'm actually gonna get crashed on, because I was telling people these guys can do deals on the 45 million.
I don't trust them, bro.
What do I say? What can I say, bro? Tomorrow, like I'll come with what? Yeah, guys. Yeah, we did. Listen,
No, you're finished. You're finished. Yeah, you're
I'm
finished.
good. You know what I mean? I'm good. I can't lie to you, man. If they cannot make this one happen, I don't even know what to say.
Nah,
No,
bro.
if they can't make this one happen, like they shouldn't be sporting directors.
Happen,
And the
bro.
wonderful thing, because I was telling to Scott, and obviously Scott left there because me and Scott were actually having this debate yesterday about Maignan, and I was saying if they can't get this deal done, there is no PR you can spin. Yeah, it doesn't matter what even they put out on like the media. There's nothing you can do that can that can excuse that.
Yep.
Can excuse it, right? Because every other thing there was at least an excuse about monetary value, contract value, stuff like that.
There's no
cannot
excuses.
You
There's
can't
literally
excuse that
not
one.
one excuse you can make now. There's not a single excuse out there that you can make about
Yes.
anything.
Yes.
There's you the deal is right there.
Yep. Like genuinely, it's a clean shot. You know what I mean? It's like it's a clean shot, and you weren't able to do that, bro. Yeah, but listen, boys, we are gonna end it here. Bridge Nation is gonna head out. Who's available right now to raid right now? Probably it's Lee Gunner. Let's send the all to the right
All
army.
reliable.
Yeah, you know what I mean? All
Fucking
reliable.
Lucas, bro.
Let's just send it.
Lucas never misses, bro.
No, Ahmed, I told you, bro, I wouldn't take water from these arseholes if I was dying of thirst in the desert. Yeah, probably. If I, to be fair, they'll probably be giving you wine instead of that, bro. So,
Also, yeah, we'll see, man. We shall see, bro.
listen, before we move, Bridge Nation, what phase is bridging? The bridging. Well, we're currently in phase 1, so tune in for that one too. But listen, we move.
Hey, JK, send me where you're getting all this Italian Rob Prattley information. I want to know where's Rob Prattley information.
But as I said before, listen, you know who I am. I've been your host of the Bridge Nation. You know my boy RSM. He's already in the title already. He's almost
Yes,
at
sir.
1K. Almost
Yes,
at 1K.
sir.
Let's get him to 1K, please.
I'm at
My boy-
935, bro. Come on, we
That's
can
it, man.
do.
Only 65 remain. There's over 172 of you guys in here. Right, there was actually 2
I'm 195 away from 1K.
Exactly, and my boy Joey
Yes,
Wabs.
man. Let's
He's
go, man.
also in the comment as well. Not the comment, in the title as well. Make sure to hit it. Make sure to get him to 1K too, and make sure to get me to 3K. You know what I mean? 333 like this. What do you mean, man? As always, I've been your host, the Bridge Nation. Bridge out, Mariska out, Tuchel out, Di Matteo out.